My name is Alexander Hayes. I'm 43 years old, and until a few months ago, I believed my life was perfectly mapped out. A thriving career in private equity that easily covered our 5-bedroom home in one of Seattle's most exclusive waterfront neighborhoods. A tight-knit group of colleagues and friends who looked up to me, and Sophia, my wife of 14 years, whom I trusted completely. Or so I thought. I was wrong. Completely wrong. It's astonishing how one small oversight can unravel everything. For Sophia, it was leaving her phone on the kitchen island while she stepped into the shower. We had an open phone policy at home. No locks, no hidden corners. It wasn't about distrust. It was just sensible, we'd always said, for emergencies. The screen lit up with a notification. Suite 812. Same as before. Dying to see you tonight. The sender, Damian Vaughn. Even if you've never lived in Seattle, you'd know the name. His family's luxury development firm had reshaped the city's skyline over the past decade. Sleek glass towers bearing the Vaughn name everywhere you looked. Damian was a constant at every major gala and fundraiser, always with his poised wife Lillian on his arm. Lillian. I'd crossed paths with her at several charity events. Quiet, sharply intelligent, with those haunting gray eyes that never quite aligned with her polished smile. Now it all made sense. I set the phone down exactly where it had been and poured myself a stiff scotch. My pulse stayed even, my hands didn't tremble, but deep inside, a switch had flipped. When Sophia emerged from the bathroom, towel wrapped and hair still dripping, I was casually scrolling through emails at the island. "What time is the Ellison Project meeting tomorrow?" I asked, as if nothing had changed. 11, she replied, glancing at her phone. I studied her face for any flicker when she saw the message. Nothing. She was flawless at this. Better than I'd ever imagined. "I'll probably be late tonight. The foundation board dinner prep is running along." I nodded. "Fine. I'll catch up with Ryan for drinks." That was the first lie I'd ever told her. No plans with Ryan. Instead, I drove downtown and parked across from the boutique events firm where Sophia worked as a senior coordinator. At 7:15, she stepped out, impeccable in a tailored coat and heels. She bypassed the garage where her Tesla was parked, walked 4 blocks, and disappeared into the lobby of the Grand Meridian Hotel. I waited in my car for half an hour, gripping the wheel until my knuckles ached. Part of me wanted to charge up to the 8th floor and smash through the door of Suite 812, but rage is sloppy. In private equity, you learn quickly that emotion kills deals and strategy wins wars. Instead, I drove to O'Malley's, a dimly lit pub near the condo Sophia and I had shared when we were newlyweds. The owner, Frank, was still behind the bar. Hair whiter now, but the same warm grin. "Alexander Hayes," he said, as I took a stool. "Been too long, mate." "Way too long," I agreed. "Scotch, neat." He poured generously. "Celebrating?" "The opposite." Frank nodded knowingly. 35 years pouring drinks teaches you to read people. "Want to talk?" "Not yet. Maybe after the next one." 4 drinks in, I called Marcus Reed, a retired detective turned PI who'd once owed me for bailing out his nephew's startup. "I need full surveillance," I told him. "Professional, exhaustive, starting now." "On who?" "My wife and Damian Vaughn." Marcus exhaled slowly. "The Damian Vaughn? Damn, Alex, you sure?" "I'm sure." For the next 3 weeks, I lived 2 lives. By day, Alexander Hayes, loving husband, sharp financier, kissing Sophia goodbye, asking about her day, sharing quiet dinners. By night, while she claimed late meetings or girls' nights, Marcus fed me updates. The hardest part wasn't the acting, it was the intimacy of the lie. Watching her choose outfits I knew would end up discarded in Damian's suite, listening to her edited stories, sleeping with her while wondering if she was replaying moments with him. One evening, as we dressed for a firm partners dinner, Sophia stepped out of the closet in an emerald silk dress I'd never seen. "New?" I asked, nodding my tie. "Oh, this old thing? I've had it forever," she said smoothly. "Just hasn't seen daylight in ages." I knew Damian had bought it for her. Marcus had photos of them at Nordstrom 2 weeks ago, plus the receipt. "You look incredible," I said, and meant it. That was the cruelest twist. I still wanted her. 14 years of shared history doesn't vanish overnight. "You're staring," she teased, a nervous edge beneath the flirtation. "Just admiring," I replied, smiling tightly. "Shall we?" At dinner, Sophia worked the room like always, remembering spouses' names, kids' schools, asking perfect follow-up questions. I nodded along, my mind replaying Marcus's latest batch. Sophia and Damian locked in a heated embrace in the elevator, his hands sliding up her thigh, her fingers tangled in his hair. "Alexander, you with us?" my partner asked. "Sorry, miles away. You were saying about the Harborview deal?" Sophia touched my arm supportively. Once it would have grounded me. Now it felt like performance. Later, driving home, Sophia rested her hand on my leg. "You were quiet tonight. Everything all right?" "Exhausted. Big pitch tomorrow." She accepted it instantly. Then, "Fancy a long bath when we get home? I could work out those knots in your shoulders." The idea of her hands that had been all over him, made my stomach turn. But I couldn't tip my hand. "Rain check. Need to prep." Relief flickered across her face. "Of course, I understand." I thought, "You understand perfectly." The evidence mounted fast. Hotel keycard logs, photos, credit card charges for champagne and late-night room service at half a dozen luxury spots. 8 months, it turned out, right under my nose. But Marcus uncovered something bigger. "Vaughn's in serious financial quicksand," he said over coffee in his cramped office. He slid a thick folder across. "Massive over-leveraging, cooking the books, shifting investor money to cover holes, textbook fraud, Ponzi on a billionaire scale." I scanned the documents. "How solid is this?" "Rock solid. My old FBI buddy's been tracking it. They're close to indictments." "While sleeping with my wife." "Exactly," Marcus said. "So, what now?" I closed the folder. Now I get strategic. That night, as Sophia slept, I mapped it out. Damian Vaughn had stolen something irreplaceable. I'd take everything he had left. Next morning, I called in sick for the first time in years. As soon as Sophia left, I dove in, researching Vaughn's empire, his schedule, his public persona, his wife, Lillian. Finding Lillian was easy. She volunteered every Tuesday at the Seattle Art Museum, giving private tours. I waited until her group dispersed, then approached her in the Sculpture Garden Cafe. "Mrs. Vaughn, Alexander Hayes. We met at the Children's Foundation Gala last spring." Recognition dawned. "Yes, Sophia's husband. Please, sit." Up close, she was striking. Mid-40s, graceful, no obvious work done. Those gray eyes held quiet intensity. "I'll be direct," I said. "This is personal." She sipped her tea. "Go on." I placed an envelope between us. "Before you open it, know I debated this, but you deserve the truth." She opened it calmly. Inside, photos of Damian and Sophia entering hotels, kissing in lobbies, leaving together. Time-stamped, undeniable. She studied each one without reaction. When finished, she neatly restacked them. 8 months, I said softly. A single tear escaped, quickly brushed away. I felt the distance, the secrecy, the late nights. "There's more." I slid over the second envelope, financial docs. Her composure finally fractured. "He's going to jail." "Yes, soon." "Why tell me?" she asked sharply. "Why not just divorce Sophia and let him crash alone?" "Because justice isn't quiet. They humiliated us, assumed we'd stay silent. I want them exposed, publicly, to everyone who matters in this city." She considered. "The Northwest Philanthropy Gala is in 4 weeks. Sophia's coordinating. Damian's the guest of honor." "Exactly. I want to reveal everything there, with you beside me." Long silence. Then, "My friends call me Lillian, and if we're going to ruin my husband together, Alexander is fine." We left the museum side by side, both irrevocably changed. Over the next weeks, Lillian and I planned meticulously. Different cafes, encrypted messaging apps. Paranoia felt justified. I learned she was brilliant. Former corporate litigator who'd stepped back to support Damian's rise. No kids, he'd never wanted them. Now she was quietly grateful. We refined the plan, swapped the tribute video at the gala, tip authorities to arrive mid-reveal, ensure maximum fallout. One afternoon in the Capitol Hill coffee shop, Lillian suddenly tensed. "Don't look, Sophia just walked in." I kept calm, reached for Lillian's hand as Sophia spotted us. Her sharp gasp was audible. "Alexander?" Confusion, then suspicion as her gaze dropped to our joined hands. "Sophia, small world. I didn't know you two were close." We ran into each other, talking gala logistics. Lillian has brilliant ideas for the tribute. Lillian smiled serenely. "Your husband speaks so highly of your work, Sophia." Sophia's mask slid into place, but not before I saw panic. She fled without her coffee. Later, Sophia came home early, overly affectionate, probing about my day. When she tried to initiate intimacy, I pleaded fatigue. The hurt in her eyes gave me cold satisfaction. Marcus reported Damian liquidating assets, moving funds offshore, then a $75,000 cash withdrawal. 2 days later, a thug cornered me in my office garage. "Mr. Hayes, Mr. Vaughn wants a word. Tell him to schedule through my assistant." "This ain't office hours." He stepped closer. "He's prepared to compensate your discretion." I smiled thinly. "Tell your boss I know about the affair and the fraud. If anything happens to me, full dossiers go to the FBI, Seattle PD, and every major outlet. He can't buy me, he can't scare me." The man backed off. That night, I warned Lillian. She wavered briefly. Maybe we let the feds handle it? But ultimately stayed in. The night before the gala, I finally confronted Sophia. "Late again tomorrow?" I asked as she applied skincare. "You know I will be. It's the biggest event of the year." "Suite 812 has a nice view, I hear." Her hands froze. In the mirror, confusion to shock to calculation. "Alexander, don't. 8 months, Sophia, with Damian Vaughn. Don't insult me with more lies." She turned, composed. "We need to talk calmly. 8 months isn't a slip, it's a choice. He's leaving Lillian. He has plans." I laughed. "Did he mention he's bankrupt, running a multi-million-dollar fraud?" Doubt cracked her facade. "Enjoy the gala. It's going to be unforgettable." She left at 2 a.m., straight to Damian's penthouse, returned at dawn, wrecked. Gala night arrived. I picked up Lillian 2 blocks from the museum. She wore a bold crimson gown, hair down, makeup fierce. "Tonight, we get noticed," she said. We did. Walking the red carpet arm in arm drew stares, whispers. Where were Damian and Sophia? Inside, Sophia, radiant in silver, froze when she saw us. Damian, schmoozing investors, paled. We took seats at the head table. Dinner became tense theater. Lillian and I openly affectionate, Damian drinking heavily, Sophia gripping her glass like a lifeline. Then the tribute video began, and shifted. Damian's own voice narrated over damning footage, hotel entrances, embraces, falsified financials, missing millions. Chaos erupted. Investors shouted, phones recorded. As the final slide faded, SEC agents and police entered. "Damian Vaughn, you're under arrest." Sophia sobbed, clutching me. "Please tell me you didn't do this." "You chose him," I said quietly. "Now live with it." Lillian appeared at my side. "Shall we?" We left as Damian was cuffed and led away. The aftermath was brutal and swift. Social media exploded. Damian pled guilty, 15 years, massive restitution. Sophia lost her job, moved to Portland to restart. Lillian launched a foundation helping fraud victims. Our friendship deepened slowly, cautiously, into something real. A year later, standing on her balcony overlooking the city lights no longer dotted with Vaughn Towers, she asked, "Do you think we'll ever fully trust again?" I kissed her.
we already do. Revenge isn't cold. It's the fierce clarity of truth. It's rising when they expected you to break. It's turning pain into purpose. And sometimes it's finding the one person who truly understands and choosing to walk forward together.